Mhm. Hello, hello. We are just waiting on Elizabeth to jump in. I'm a few minutes early. So, welcome. Okay. Hey, Bob, how's it going? I guess I can take these off. Good, good. I'll be right back, and Elizabeth should be in here any second. So, just one moment. Okay, back, and hopefully Elizabeth is joining us soon. Bob, did you survive the thunderstorm? Or anybody in the Shreveport area? Did you make it through the thunderstorm okay? I know it was crazy over here for a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I live out in Greenwood, and it was insane. Lights flickering. I'm actually surprised that I didn't lose power because I normally do. Oh no. Blew the shutter off of your house. Any other damage? Is everybody else okay? Hello. You made it.
I did. Hold on, I'm gonna plug my headphones in. That worked better last time. All right, there we go.
Cool.
Oh, wow, my hair's huge.
I love it.
There we go. That's better. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. All right, I'm going to try to share this real quick.
Cool, cool.
Ooh,
Yes,
okay. There we go. Okay. All right.
I hear some noise in your background.
Hey, can you turn that down a little bit? That's audio.
Oh yeah.
Is that better?
It was for a second.
Can you hear me?
But I can still hear.
Is it still there? Shoot. It was on the bed a minute ago. Guys, man, one of the dogs probably buried it. Our dog's newest favorite thing to do is take the remote and, like, when we're watching TV, they'll sit on it so it changes the station so they like get our attention, and then like we'll reprimand them for it, so then they hide the remotes. like under the blankets and like all these ridiculous places. It's annoying. They're
Hey,
way
they're
too smart for their own good.
I know, mine too. It's crazy.
Yeah, we rescued them like off of the Texas desert, so like they lived wild, like not feral, but they lived wild, and they're so smart. Like they can unscrew water bottles because like they used to like scavenge for stuff. So yeah, they still have all these crazy habits.
Yeah.
So I took notes on the Liz mural corruption.
Yes.
Insanity.
Insanity.
Oh my God. And Jeff.
I think he froze. Still figuring this out, y'all.
Yeah, we are. I just posted on Facebook telling everybody to go to your account, so that might be why I froze for a second.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So the news up here is that we had a crazy thunderstorm and wind and stuff come through. So I'm gonna show the comments. It says show the comments on the stage.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that does. People let me know. Like I've been able to see the comments, but
yeah, okay. I can see the comments. I can see it a little bit like on my screen.
Now they're
tiny though. Yeah.
I can make them larger. But then that hid you. Oh. I don't know how big to make them.
I don't know what happened. I pushed something and it all went away.
Okay, so this is medium size for the comments.
Okay.
Or we can. I can click on large.
All right. I can read them a little bit. That's cool. Hi, everybody. I'm Elizabeth. For those of you who don't know me, I'm from Maine. I moved down to Louisiana about 3 years ago. I'm an artist, an author, and advocate. My book, No Justice, Just Us, is out. And I support Matt over here in his mission to unseat Micro Dick Johnson and the rest of the Klansman crew. So, yeah.
Yes. Hey, what's up? How are you? I love your intros.
It's different every time. Never know where we're going to go with it.
I love it. I love it. I'm just looking to see how things look. Okay. With the comments. Okay. I feel like comment-wise, we'll try it this way and just so Elizabeth can see as well. Because if not, she can't see. Or if we don't like it this way, then I can always just read it out to you. But the goal or the topic tonight, in addition to the crazy weather that we're having and will continue to have, is Liz Murrill. And we know there's a recall that's happening against her and the governor. And everybody, if you don't know already, Louisiana Deserves Better is the website that you can go to get information on the recall petition where you sign. There's also now finally a mail-in option where you do have to, wet sign, like sign non-digitally, but you can get it mailed and mail it back. So that's a new announcement. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
They made that a day or two ago. So Louisiana Deserves Better. Great place if you are interested in signing the recall. But Elizabeth, take it away. What's going on besides the recall?
Well, Liz Muriel got herself a 16 felony count indictment. So, 8 of those are intimidating a witness, and the other is, it's that freaking word that I can't pronounce, maleficence. I'm not gonna say it right.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. It's the intentional commission of a wrongdoing and power, abusing your position of power. I mean, she literally wrote letters to New Orleans public people, that the people we all voted in, or New Orleans voted in, and our public servants, and decided that she was going to threaten them if they didn't follow with the law that Landry passed about kicking Calvin Duncan out and removing the other seats that were voted in. I mean, Calvin Duncan was voted in 68% by the people, you know, after, and her and Landry refused to acknowledge his exoneration. He had a 30-year prison sentence, murder bid, and he educated himself, fought his way, you know, through the court system, proved himself innocent, and then was voted in by the people. And these racist, you know, I can't even call them descendants of slave masters, because they are modern day slave masters. I mean, just, I'm so disgusted with all of their antics. But the other side pisses me off, because they released the warrant before the jury returned the indictment. So that gives her grounds to be like, hey, this is corruption, this isn't fair, this wasn't properly done. And it's just so stupid, because, you know, us peasants down here, that wouldn't matter. That would never matter if, right, you know, that, yeah. And the Supreme Court noted that its stay shall also not prevent the filing of motions for the recusal of special prosecutor or trial judge. Then the Supreme Court ordered them to recall the arrest warrant because of that. Mm-hmm. And I'm just so pissed they botched that. Like, come on, guys. Like, you know she's an elitist. Jeff Landry already said, I'm gonna, you know, overturn, I'm gonna pardon her as fast as the law will allow me. Yep. I mean, they think because they tell us about their corruption, it makes it okay. Like, I mean, we saw Mike Johnson in the media going, well, Trump does it all out in the open.
Right.
So he's just breaking the law out in the open, and that makes it okay. Like, are you joking? Like, what are you doing?
It is so crazy. The corruption is so blatant, and they do it so openly because they can, because nobody has called them on it.
Yeah, and I'm like, I love that they did this. I mean, 8 counts, you know, for both charges. That's incredible. But I'm like, come on, guys, order of operations.
Yeah, make sure that we do it right.
Procedure. Because you know they're going to cry and moan, and they're victimizing me, and they're retaliating. No, yeah, that's what happens when you do illegal things. The government comes and retaliates against you and locks you up. You didn't even get a perp walk. You know, us peasants would have gotten dragged. You know, she got the whole media attention thing, but she's getting, you know, and it already feels like the courts are just siding with them automatically. And I don't like the way this feels. And like, I mean, the prosecutor like seemed confident about it. Like, this has been open and shut case. Well, they should be. Sure. Doesn't mean it's going to go down that way. Like, what are you, our president has what, like 50 something felony, 37 that stuck and he got convicted of. Mm-hmm. Okay. 34. I have one. Mm-hmm. And I did 3 years. I sat no bail for 16 months waiting to go to prison. There was no amount of money that got me out of jail. And she's like $400,000. She didn't even have to pay it. She didn't even get a mugshot or, you know, any of the things that us peasants go through, you know, and we're actually innocent a lot of the time. Like Calvin Duncan, he was innocent, and you know, he's still getting dragged.
That poor man. He's been through so much.
I can't imagine 30 years. Like I was at a camp, federal prison. That is a cushy fucking prison compared to the horrors that go on in the state prisons of Louisiana. I mean, I can't, like, I've talked to people that have been to both, and they're like, Louisiana is a different game. And, you know, I was very lucky, and I still had to go through, you know, certain dehumanizations, and, you know, it was the cops you had to worry about. Like, the inmates weren't messing each other up. It was the cops, you know, at that level of security. But, you know, just to, you know, and I don't even know what my cousin made a valid point one day. He's like, this is so stupid. Like, Trump can't go to prison. Like, all presidents have to have Secret Service with them at all times for the rest of their fucking lives because, you know, it's high priority. How would they even do that? You know,
there's a way, like the Secret Service, just like
right,
the solitary cell. But no,
I couldn't be a normal prison though.
No, of course not. And that's not gonna happen. Let's be at least a little
realistic,
because our AG, who like is indicted, has all of these 16 charges against her, like literally working or like writing these letters to elected officials. And then we, like, even if she were convicted, which hopefully she will be, because she should be, anybody who does anything wrong, you know, illegal according to the government, like should have repercussions for that. But then before there's even a conclusion on the trial, before the trial even happens, before anything, then the governor says that we're going to pardon her
as fast as the law will allow. We're not going to let her get tarnished. I'm like, are you joking?
You don't even care.
You guys are
or not. I mean, you know what it is, but like, you don't even want to give a semblance of like true justice and faith in the law.
Yes. They don't even want to like put on the show anymore. They just want to be like, we're going to overturn it immediately. And, you know, and they're losing their minds about Democratic corruption shutting down the press. And I don't know why they handcuffed the reporter. That was ridiculous. Probably some overzealous security guard. But I think that's good that the judge ordered the reporters out of the courtroom to protect the jury, because this was a huge case against a very big fish, a very powerful fish who already has retaliatory charges and, you know, intimidation charges and abusing her position of power. And you have these everyday Americans on the jury who, you know, many of them probably living paycheck to paycheck, have no institutions behind them, you know, to defend them. And yeah, that was a good thing, because God only knows what her people would have done. And I'm sure she's got her, you know, inside sources in there, you know, telling her anyway. But, you know, that was valid. It wasn't necessary to, you know, cuff them though. I don't know why that would happen, but the judge said, I never ordered that to happen. I just ordered y'all to leave. Like,
yeah.
But they're losing their mind. The people of Louisiana have the right to free press and blah, blah, blah. Man, the hypocrisy is wild. It's so exhausting.
Yeah. People also have
Bowser
to be, you know, to testify in front of a jury of their peers and then be found guilty or not before we issue pardons. Yeah.
My dog knocked my lamp over or unplugged it, because of course he did.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's just so
exhausting.
It really is. And again, that's on top of all the craziness, terribleness that we've gone through with them and Nancy Landry and allowing the election to be canceled. I mean, postponed, but pretty much canceled. And
to redraw maps and get rid of runners that are going to give you a problem in the polls.
Mm-hmm. It's just so insane. The insidiousness is so potent, so present, so like at the forefront, and there are not enough people who care or are in positions to be able to do something about it.
They keep everybody so enfranchised and just, like I was working on the 4th of July. I was, out busting my ass waiting tables because kind of have to. Mm-hmm. And, it's just not right. Like y'all could just be a little less fucking greedy. And like, it's not necessary. Like, and then the Supreme Court, ruled that the stay was to allow any and all necessary defense pleadings, including the motion to quash, which means get rid of it and throw it out, void it completely. Like this just already feels so corrupt and gross. Like they've got the, courts falling in line with exactly what they want to happen.
Well, and a lot of them will. I mean, we've seen that with the Supreme Court.
Absolutely. Yeah. Susan Collins is like running in circles right now, defending that, saying, Roe v. Wade would have gotten overturned regardless if Brett Kavanaugh would have gotten it or not. Like, lady, you voted to install a rapist and you knew that. And now, man, back home is a whole mess. I know you've seen some of that. I don't even know if Graham Plattner is like running now, but like that sucks because that trio of Republican treachery, LePage, Collins, and the other guy running for mayor, that is just going to be a nightmare. Like Maine will be ran over and, total Trump control again. And like, they don't understand what they're in for. Like, they've always had abortion rights up there that never got affected. If they take back over that's going out the window. And it's really sad to watch. I mean, I'm pissed at Janet Mills, but like she expanded MaineCare and allowed poor people to get health care, which is why I'm sitting here with you and not in prison or dead from an overdose somewhere. Like that gave me health care. I took care of, my mental health, and I took care of my pain, chronic pain, and my head injury, which allowed me to get sober and, be stable enough to have somewhat of a life. And, it was just that little bare minimum thing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Well, Janet Mills as a governor, I think was really good. I saw her speak at a convention back in December, and I really like her. I think one of the issues with her as a senatorial candidate was her age.
Right. Yeah, she did a lot. Like recidivism rate went down because of her, because she enacted the pilot program. I sent you that legislation, by the way. And that expanded into the prisons that ensured those inmates got stabilized on their medication, and those medications would be covered up to a year after they got out. So that included like Suboxone, addiction, replacement, as well as mental health. And the recidivism rate went down. They did a story on it, and all of these people who kept relapsing for years the second they got out of prison, just like I did, and because they didn't have their medications and they had no way to pay for it, that completely changed. It also helped people who, were an active user, and if they overdosed, instead of just hitting them with Narcan and treating them for the overdose, which will cause them to go into extreme withdrawal, like out of their mind, very, very sick. It's dangerous. Instead of leaving them in that state, they are given Suboxone or some what, it's usually Suboxone. I haven't heard of them using methadone, but I mean, they might use something else. And that stops them from detoxing. And then you have this window of space where you can get that person into treatment, and they'll actually like want to go to treatment instead of, just not being rational about the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And that was really good. A lot of people got their lives back from her, versus when LePage was just like, oh, if they've already been hit with Narcan once, let them die. That's the legislation he wanted to pass.
Yeah.
Just let them die. Like, are you joking?
Yeah.
She turned out to be, all for Israel and taking PAC money, mm-hmm. and she still won't acknowledge the genocide. And that's when I was like, yeah,
yeah,
you did some good, but
and some good's better than some of the bad that we're seeing. And
right.
Like, people are wanting different candidates. People are wanting candidates that are acknowledging the genocide that's happening, that are saying that, like,
absolutely.
Hey, like, the current government of Israel, like, they're the bad guys, and when we're like, we're the bad guys too. And we've always been, the good guys in at least like our version of American history.
Yeah.
That's not true, truly, but at least in some of these like major conflicts, we could like show that we were on a decent side of history. Like, there's no argument here.
Yeah, World War II. Yeah, I agree. Stuff like that. But then you get into our presence in the Middle East, and none of that is on the right side of anything. It's funny, because in high school, I used to how indoctrinated we were back then. We just went along with it automatically. Oh, my first thought was, when I first heard about how women in Islam were treated, how if their hand was exposed, they would get cut off. Like, mm-hmm. crazy shit like that. They had no rights as women, all of this. They married their little girls off to old men. Mm-hmm. Horror stories. My mm-hmm. first thought was, that's why we're over there. We're mm-hmm. there to free those women. We were never there to free those women. We were there for their oil, and women had freedom over there until we destabilized their government that didn't want to hand over the oil.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it depends on what country and whatever. But
that was one of them.
Great. But then also, like, a lot of those things we're doing here too.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Off, like, children, that's still allowed.
Absolutely.
In some states.
It's not rape if you marry them off and the parents sign them off.
Yes. Yeah. And so a lot of, and like, what women have more rights here than in some countries, but women have way less rights here in America than they do in a lot of the other more developed countries.
Absolutely. I mean, we're above Saudi Arabia in safety for women. Like, mm-hmm. Saudi Arabia is safer for women than America as of now. It's, the numbers aren't good, and like, I mean, domestic partner violence is, the number one killer of women, and that goes up when you get pregnant. Like, mm-hmm. it's really dangerous, and that when you try to leave, you're like 7 times more likely to die. Yeah. And it's crazy because, Louisiana has no resources for women, and they have a very toxic, misogynistic, corrupt police system. And, in St. Tammany, where I'm at, we have the highest rate of involuntary institutionalizations. Like, it's way off the charts. And I don't know if you guys have, what's her name? Magnolia. She's on TikTok. She goes through public records, and she breaks all of this down. And she she showed like how they were like kind of like seizing properties here and there, like with by doing this to people, and it was wild. So I think it's crazy what can be done to you in America, you know, just by the right person, you know, putting you under a conservatorship or whatever,
Mhm.
if you have something they want. And I don't
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
the suffering of the American people is $1 trillion industry. Like, it's
Mhm.
out of control.
Yeah, a comment from Facebook said not to stack on, but then also just like maternal mortality rates in general.
Absolutely, especially for Black women. Like,
Especially for Black
they at like
And
10 times.
Yeah, it's like at least 3 times more. It's 3 times higher, depending on like what stat you look at, and even more than that in some areas. And
Yeah.
rural women, people who live in rural Louisiana or rural parts of the country, you know, it's higher mortality rates too because of access to OBGYNs,
Right.
to delivery doctors, to facilities and hospitals that even have maternity wards.
Yeah, it's really bad. Like, we were all talking about, you know, our like birth and labor experiences in prison one day, and it became like abundantly clear like how much of a different experience I had than Black women. Like, it never would dawn on me to not let a nurse take my baby into the nursery or whatever to give me a break. I mean, it would now that all this shit's coming out about, you know, DHS and Epstein, and, you know, I would never do that now. But back then, you know, like, before I know what I knew now, like, it would never even like occur to me as a second thought to question, or don't let this, you know, hospital take my baby out of my sight.
Right.
That would never even dawn on me. That's normal, everyday, like, knowledge, like, in the Black community. Like, they live by an entirely different set of survival rules. And I just thought, like, that was one of those, like, eye-opening things to me. And it's just, you know, there's so much racism in the medical community. And I know people are going to get mad at me for this, but there is a direct pipeline from mean, snobby, cruel, bully girls, white girls, and becoming nurses, sociopathic nurses. And I'm sorry, that's just the truth of it. And not enough is done, and they abuse their positions, and they do all kinds of horrible things. And yeah, it's like, people don't understand, like, medical personnel, they have the power to have your kids taken away. They have power over your health, your life, your death, like, your comfort. Like, that is a lot of power to have over somebody. And, you know, there's too many people, you know, and there's the whole stigma of drugs and addicts, and, you know, how they treat those people. And, you know, it's really bad. Now, on top of the fact, according to Psychology Magazine, the #1 occupation for a sociopath is a surgeon in America. Like, and that's one of those things, like, it makes total sense once you hear it, but it's one thing you never think of. That's the last job you're going to think of as, you know, somebody with sociopathic tendency or who has that diagnosis. But, you know, it's the recognition and, you know, the idolization, you know, that feeds the ego, and that kind of, and it satisfies what
from humanity.
Yeah.
To be able to perform those
right. Like,
surgeries.
I don't care how much education I have. I could not cut a human body open and, you know, fiddle around in there without puking in the hole and, like, having a traumatic reaction.
Yeah, that's why, one of the reasons why I didn't end up going to med school. I did the other type of doctorate instead, because, like, I don't know, I can't.
No.
Yeah, healthcare, huge issue, and you see it every day. It's impacting people.
Yeah,
it's getting worse. It's like with the overturning of Roe v. Wade. I mean, and then the cuts.
What they're doing to the vets, like, he cut the veterans' healthcare. Like, I'm seeing video after video of veterans saying, like, they shut down, like, my VA office, or they fired whoever, and I'm going, are you serious? And they think people are going to sign up to go to war again.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what they're doing. Like, but they're giving full benefits and all this money to the IDF soldiers. They're putting the IDF soldiers before our own American soldiers. And I saw your post of like what you plan, like how do you plan to implement like new policy like for military families? Like I saw your post and I was like, oh, I got to ask him about that tonight. Yeah.
Yes, I do. We'll come back there. We have a lot of comments. Yes, there are many, many excellent nurses and doctors. It's not saying that they're not. And somebody talked about like people getting into power.
Yes, I'm not saying all nurses and doctors, not all of them.
Yeah, but I do think that like there are people that are put into positions of like life and death or like power authority, like including police, including people who go into clergy, people who become teachers, like, and there needs to be like vetting and support for people to make sure that the right people are in those positions,
right?
And there are a few people here and there that are not in the right field, like.
Yes, I didn't mean all of them.
Yes. But I just wanted to clarify that, yes, just so we're clear on that. Okay, last week, MK Ultra.
Oh yeah, they testified about that in Congress. I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're admitting that it's still going on. You know what's crazy? There were when all those new like synthetic substances were coming out in 2011, there were people like some of my associates who were dead ass convinced that this whole thing like we were in was like some type of MK Ultra like experiment. Like it was so sketchy, like especially with some of the players that were involved, because one of them used to be a chemist like for the government. So like there were all these like weird things, and people were paranoid, and that was one of it's bad. Like you tell yourself like, no, the government wouldn't do that to their own citizens. And yes, they absolutely would.
They did, and
still are.
They still are, and will if we allow them to, and if we don't hold people accountable and have the right people in the right position. Okay, those are all the comments that we had. So it's going back to like veteran care. So my dad was in the military, 33 years in the Coast Guard. We moved around a lot. He flew helicopters for rescue swimmer missions. And so because of that, like he is basically deaf. Like according to whatever the military regulations are, he's 100% deaf. And wears hearing aids, and like thankfully that's covered by the VA. And he lives in North Carolina, and they lived in Virginia, near DC, and he's had really good experiences with the VA, and providing great doctors and support. And that's the current administration is cutting VA benefits and cutting the amount of funding that's going. And so what does that do? It causes doctors to get more overworked. You have longer wait times. And like these are people who they're going to the VA because their positions serving our community in the government, in the military, caused them to have these issues. Like these are the people that we should 100% be supporting and protecting, and providing like even more funding and help to, not cutting it, not taking it away. I mean, and then also we need to include like the mental health component, which is a huge issue for a lot of people who, especially like anybody in our country, but also like people who have been overseas and been a part of wars and seen that, trauma up close. I mean, we really need to put money and support into mental health for veterans.
Yeah, we do. And well, first story, there was the cutest little old lady I was in prison with, and she was like this 78-year-old grandma, never been in trouble in her life, and her husband, guys, Move, Bowser. Move it. She was the cutest little old lady, and her only crime was trying to walk. She needed knee surgery, and because she was married to a veteran and her husband fought in like World War II type shit, and his insurance wouldn't cover her. Her insurance wouldn't cover her because she was married. So she put down on the insurance form that she was single. They came with a SWAT team over that. They kicked her door off of the hinges. This woman had never been in any type of trouble her entire life. Like, her husband fought and, you know, lived on like disability and like, come on, like he was disabled from the war. And I'm going like that's, you don't even do that to worse crimes. Like because it was federal, like they came, scared her to death. Like, you didn't have to do that. Like, you didn't need a SWAT team. You could have just knocked on her door and like she would have come out. Like, and they gave her 18 months for that. Like 18 months in federal prison.
Like insurance fraud? Is that?
Yeah, insurance fraud. And I'm going, are you serious? And the other story, because we absolutely do need to address veterans' mental health. I was, you know, all the vets I was in prison with were either women who stood up to their rapists in the military and the military kicked them out for it, or they couldn't deal with their trauma and ended up, you know, doing drugs and selling drugs. But this woman, she was from Maine and fought in Iraq and couldn't deal, went into a bad one and was trying to go out, you know, suicide by cop. And so when the cop came, she shot at the ground. This guy, you know, small town cop, never seen nothing like this. And he almost shits himself, almost fumbles his gun, and she sees how scared he is. So she like felt bad and surrendered. And I met her in solitary, and she was just like, dude, he could have shot me and he didn't. And, you know, I'm really grateful for that. And I was pissed. I was pissed for her because like the newspaper like made him out to be some hero and like made her out to look like a psycho. Like, dude, she was a veteran, like having flashbacks of being in sand trenches and shit. Like, leave her the hell alone. And they let her out on conditions and she ends up killing herself. And I'm like, how does somebody on, you know, conditions, you know, for a crime that involves a gun end up getting a gun to like finish the job? Like, and it broke my heart because like I loved her. Yeah, there's a chapter in my book called Salute to the Fallen over, and it goes deep into that whole horrible story. But yeah, we definitely need, you know, mental health treat, because, you know, and it's not just the veterans. They come home and they end up traumatizing their wives and kids. Like, not trying to take the focus off of them, but like this spills into other things that go very horribly wrong. And, you know, they absolutely deserve to come home and get treatment. And I think there should be something like the Resolve program for military vets. It's like an in-depth trauma program. We had it in the feds. I only made it through like the first stage because I didn't have a long enough sentence. Like, it takes like 2 years to get through the whole thing, but like it is a very in-depth like trauma like program, and it works. Like, they have a very high rate of success, but it is literally only offered in federal prison. Just like the RDAP program is only offered in federal prison. Like, you know, if you had rehabs and programs like that, instead of people just sitting like and looking at the wall, like, you'd probably do better.
Yeah. Well, and just mental health in general in America needs to change. It's crazy how it's not included in a lot of insurance plans, or it's so expensive in insurance plans, or you only get to go, you know, 8 times in a year,
Right. It should, and then you have, medical offices and institutions that will like re-prescribe somebody, a different medication just so they can charge the insurance, and then hold them in an institution saying, well, we need to monitor them on this new medication. Like, it's not really about the patient, it's about profit. And that's what it always comes back to. And that's why nobody ever gets better. And we have this stigma that people with mental health issues, like there's something completely wrong with them and they're just wired different. And if you can like learn how to manage that, you can act like, I was misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder, and being given, I spent 20 years going through playing Russian roulette with these medications that these doctors would give me. And some of them would put me in psychosis, and I'd be a complete danger to myself. Like, I wasn't like that before y'all put me on this stuff. And then, you get gaslit and told, oh, you're not taking your recovery seriously. You're not taking your mental health seriously because I don't want to take a medication that's making me crazy. And then they call you defiant and everything else. And like, this is another thing with our society, like the way it stigmatizes mental health. Like, you could be saying the sky is blue, and then someone's going to be like, well, you have mental health issues, so like we can't take what you're saying seriously. It's like, give me a break.
Yeah.
Also, just the way it gets weaponized against people, like it creates a lot more problems, than it should.
I think it's getting better, though. The stigma around mental health.
Well, yeah, because everybody has a mental health issue now.
I mean, everybody has a life and has something that they've gone through or are dealing with, or.
And I don't think, most people in America, I don't think they actually have mental health diagnosis. I think they're having a valid reaction to the trauma, horrible situations. It's just like one thing after another. Like, it doesn't stop here. Like, I don't remember it being like this in the 90s, like where there was just always some catastrophe going on. And it's like, you become so desensitized to it.
I think that there have been catastrophes going on forever. Maybe the harder part of what we're dealing with right now is just that news is so accessible from all over the world.
That's true. Maybe we just didn't know about it.
Right. That's what I think more is that, like, this was always happening. Now we're just hyper aware or able to get that information.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that aspect of it.
Yeah. Reading comments, regulations about how things are handled in the military. A lot depends on commanding officers. Yeah, and then going back to like training on how to handle those situations is really important. So much, I think, comes down to like education in general, education and training, and providing support for people in power positions or in upper level positions on how they're able to interact with and help the people that are below them.
Well, unfortunately in the military, like a lot of, like, from what I've gathered from talking to the women that went through it, it was always a superior officer doing this to them. Like, I don't even know if I heard anybody like tell a story where it was like the same rank and it was like the same like level of power. And I mean, I'm sure they're out there. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I mean, that all the women that I met, like, that was kind of like the main theme happening, that it was always like an outranking officer. So like, I think the military has a problem of protecting and elevating these predators because, they have that rule where you can't be alone in a room with the opposite sex or whatever it was. Like, that automatically sets women up, to lose their career if they report anything because you're already breaking a rule.
Mm. Yeah, I mean the military is so like broad too. That's I don't know. I only have like the experience from like me and my family, and Coast Guard. I
Right.
think is a lot different than being stationed overseas and like going to war,
Right.
and being in those positions. But yeah, it's yeah.
They also have like oppressive rules that only like affect the women. Like, one story I heard, their commanding officer would like check to make sure like uniform stipulations, something about their hair, and like if they didn't have it right, they'd like make them go off, like, and like it would give the off or the predator a chance to get them alone.
Mm-hmm.
And like, and we had that problem in jail. Like, if you have a rule in place, like the underwear rule, like we had one officer that would constantly check to see if we were wearing underwear or not, because there was a rule saying that we had to have underwear and socks on. Like, not that, like, that's not anybody's business whether I'm wearing underwear or socks or whatever. Like, but to put a rule in place like that, like they do in the military, it gives someone in power the right to check, and that gives, you know, that opens the door for abuse to happen more often than not. So there's like a lot of like petty rules like that need to go. And yeah, I mean, the same in prison. I mean, no, I had an officer pulling my pants open, exposing me to other inmates, and just to see if I was wearing underwear, asking me, "Are you wearing underwear?" Like, if you had done that to me on the street, like, it would be sexual assault.
Yeah.
But because you're an officer and I'm an inmate, like, you can do whatever you want. And in the military, it's, well, you're my superior, so you can do whatever you want. And like, I think, you know, the blame, that it's set up so that the blame always falls on the women in the military. And I'm not going to speak any further because I've never been there. I listen to the stories, and that's my take on it.
Mm-hmm. Well, in a lot of parts of society, blame is assigned to women because we live in this like patriarchal system that elevates men and, you know, puts women lower, and it's easier.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that though. Like, you. The last group of people, you know, you think the Republicans would not want to mess with, and like they're cutting vets funding and Medicare. Like, I'm just like, God, guys, you can't even spell it out for them. Like,
vet funding, Medicare, and even talking about cutting Social Security too. Like, oh, we have a plan for that in 2029 or 7. I don't know, 7 or 9 or both. I mean, but like.
Yeah.
Plan to cut Social Security? Like, what?
That we already paid into?
It's that. And people are just, you expect them to accept it? I don't know.
Right. It's great. It's a great time. More money for the prisons.
Mm-hmm.
They're happy to do that. Oh, yeah. Did you see Mike Johnson crashing out? About the I know, right? Oh God, this week on when how he was talking about how the Democrat, how all of his donors are going to be in danger, and he is the only one protecting them from an investigation.
Yes. Yep.
It was the same speech, but yeah, I think that was the same speech where he was like, well, Donald Trump, you know, tells you what he does. He tells everybody what he does, so it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, that's what.
He's the protection something. I forget what the exact words that he used. Yeah, he protects you. So, like, yeah, keep them in charge so that you stay protected.
Right.
What did you do illegal that requires protection? Because that's
Yeah, I'd be like, go ahead, investigate me. Wouldn't you want to be like, hey, do your investigation? See, you're not going to find anything. Like, but no, I'm protecting you from that. Like, what's there to protect if you're not doing anything wrong?
right. But of course they're doing things wrong. They're telling us they're doing things wrong. They're like just out and about and proud of.
So, like, is that the new guidelines? Like, if you just say what you're doing wrong, it makes it okay because you're telling people about it?
Apparently, at least on the Republican side. Yeah.
I'm going to go rob this bank right now. It's fine because I'm telling you about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great,
not,
guys.
Not for people like us. It's
no.
Like not like I'm going to rob this bank. I'm going to, I can't even make an apt comparison. I'm going to like, no, I have no comparison off the top of my head. But
yeah, like, because it's crazy because when I do something wrong, like it affects me and like a couple people around me and, you know, my family that cares if I live or die. But when they do something wrong, like the tidal wave of effects that it has like on our state and country and even in the world, like it's crazy.
Yes. Well, the new thing came out is like during the tariff situation, how Trump made 300 stock trades, like between when he announced the tariffs and then like pulled some of them back. It's like, okay, so like you knew what you were going to do and you blatantly made money off of that.
Yeah. You know what?
It's not something that we're talking about in addition to all the other things.
Right. Yeah. And you know what finally made me absolutely crash the fuck out after the election? It wasn't the tariffs or like Roe v. Wade or, you know, any of like the normal stuff that you think it would be. It was that stupid Trump election victory quarter that they were selling for $40 fucking dollars. Marked down from 80 and people are buying it. I'm like, what is going on? Why is this happening? Like, what timeline is this? And people think that it's worth that. He gets them to think it's worth that much. If he says it, they believe it. And I'm like, dude, you believe like 5 different things coexisting at once that can't possibly coexist at once because he contradicts the shit out of himself. And it's, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, the grift side of things is gross and shouldn't happen.
So disgusting.
But then you have, like, legitimate crimes. Like, the grift is something, like, the Trump point.
Like, yeah, okay, fine.
But then there are crimes that are happening in front of our eyes.
Right, like the Charlie Kirk murder, like that one is driving me nuts. Like, why is Erica Kirk allowed to botch an investigation like that? Like, why do you have his cell phone? The first thing the cops take on both sides, like whether you're the victim or the person committing the crime, is they take all the devices. And then she goes ahead and proves why that's necessary when Candace Owens was like, he told somebody that he knew they were going to try to kill him. He was scared for his life. And she was out there going, he never said that. He never said that to anybody. And then it turns out he did say that to somebody. She just didn't look on that platform. Like, you're proving why it's necessary for, you know, law enforcement to take devices. And on top of the fact his team brought you the bloody clothing he was wearing, and law enforcement doesn't have it. Like, these are legitimate, like, and I didn't even like the guy. I don't like the guy at all. But I want to know what happened if there's, you know, foreign government involved, because he started to buck at the system and call out Israel and a bunch of stuff that Trump was doing. And all of a sudden he gets whacked in the way he does. Like, I mean, I didn't like the guy, but like, I want to know what happened to him, just because there's too many weird like things, like, and yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I just want to know, why is Erica Kirk allowed to botch that investigation, like right in front of our faces?
I don't really know much about that side of things. I feel like, I don't know. I don't have time to go down that rabbit hole when I'm doing my research.
Right. Well, I don't like go into it a lot either, but like when I saw the clip of her saying, I have his cell phone, like, why do you have his cell phone when he just got murdered? Like, all murder victims, the first thing they take is the cell phone to like see what's going on, to see if they got threatened. So like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why wouldn't they even just pretend to do a legit investigation? Like,
there are a lot of investigations that should happen that are not happening.
Right. Right, but it's just like mind-boggling, because, and it's funny to watch his followers crash out about it, because they're like, Trump, he was your biggest supporter. We all like listened to Charlie, and like, why aren't you avenging him? And it's funny to watch MAGA crash out over it. I mean, like, I think they really did a disservice by like playing that the way they did, because they lost like half their MAGA supporters, you know, through this whole Charlie Kirk assassination thing. And I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, I haven't kept up too much with that. I do know that like TPUSA is in trouble financially.
Good. They should be.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should be in trouble for a lot more.
I'm sure that there's some things there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know like what they're getting from like having Erica Kirk like as this psyop, this crying woman. Like, all we ever see is her crying, and it's just bizarre. Like, the last presidential like assassination attempt that, you know, wasn't really an attempt. It was just, you know, a staged nightmare for reporters.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a huge like conspiracy theorist, but
no, I'm not either. But I was like, that was on the news. Like, that whole thing was on the news. Yeah. Like, they have like, I don't know. I don't like any of it. It all just feels fake, and like they're all paid actors at this point. And where is Mitch McConnell?
Okay, can we talk about Mitch McConnell? Where is Mitch McConnell, and what's up with him?
I heard he had some health issues, and like, yeah, he's basically like almost done for, and they're like holding on to his Republican seat through it.
Has it been since we've seen him?
I thought it was like, it's 8 or 14. I can't remember.
Well, yeah. So do we think this is one conspiracy theory that I am into? Do we think he's alive?
No. No.
What would help him the most? Because like if he, because the governor of Kentucky is a Democrat, Andy Beshear.
Yeah. So wouldn't that mean they lose the seat?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why they're panicking.
Yes. Oh wait, because I forgot about Beshear. Yes, because if he,
that's why they're like, he's fine.
Then Beshear gets to appoint an interim senator. So
good. That would be hilarious. I can't stand Mitch McConnell. The damage that piece of work has done.
Oh my
Ugh.
gosh.
He's just the saggiest man I've ever seen.
This goes back to conversations that you and I and a bunch of people have had of term limits, age limits for elected officials. If pilots and Air Force control and other like really important positions that hold people's life in their hands have to have a mandatory retirement age, our politicians should as well. They hold millions of people's lives in their hands just in the United States, and then
Yeah.
even more than that if we're thinking about everybody across the world. Like we have to at this point.
Yeah, I think, you should have to like check into something every couple days and be like, hey, I'm of sound mind and body and completely healthy. Because this is ridiculous.
Retirement age. And like at some point, the role of a representative was never supposed to be there forever. We saw how Washington, after 2 terms, decided to go home and go back to farming and his community. Like that was the goal. Excuse me. That was the goal. You go, you do some service, and then you come back and you let the next generation take over. Like they haven't let the next 2 generations take over yet.
Dude,
it's crazy.
Yeah, these boomers are out of control. It's so bad. It's the most sociopathic generation ever. Like, and I can say that as a waitress because I have to deal with them. Like, disrespectful man babies.
Okay,
all of them.
Not all boomers are bad.
Not all of them. No, my dad's a boomer and he's not like that at all. But like there is a collection of them and it's just a really loud collection of them.
And thank you for your service. We appreciate everything that you've done for our country. Now go home and enjoy what you and your kids and grandkids or your friends or like
get a dog. Like
something. Have a hobby that's not destroying and dismantling our democracy, please.
Right. That's not stuck on patriarchal values from the 1920s.
Yeah, let somebody else take over. But
let's evolve.
I'm interested to know about McConnell.
I am too.
Read something right before we jumped on, maybe from Laura Loomer, which not a reputable source.
No,
but sometimes she has inside knowledge, saying that he's brain dead but still alive.
So you don't.
And then at what point are you like incapacitated so that the governor can appoint somebody to vote
immediately?
Like
if he's brain dead, come on, that's dead.
I think so too, but
oh my god, that's
Bob. Your WTF comment. What was that in regards to? Which part? I know there's a little delay between us and then like what other people hear. So
have you seen Lysandria's skits of her impersonation of Mitch McConnell? It's so funny.
No, I haven't.
I'll send them to you. She's great.
Cool. I'll see if Bob responds.
Greg Stradamus is hilarious too. Greg Stone. They've been calling him Greg Stradamus because he'll come up with these skits and he'll say the most outlandish things, and then the Republicans will literally do it like a week later or say exactly that a week later. And he's like, I was joking.
Oh yeah, Marty it's a chair. Yeah, that I got. But then he says WTF with the question, so I don't know. Because we've already been talking for like a minute more, so I don't know what that
Oh yeah, right.
Was
maybe.
But what craziness that was in response to. But about like you cannot parody this government because it is so inconceivable and like ridiculous what they do sometimes that whatever you can, like, you can't even come up with something as crazy as what they're doing.
And then RFK Jr. rolls in with
right. Oh, about the boomers. Yeah, not all boomers are bad.
No, not all boomers, just their collective mindset.
No, just the ones that Elizabeth has to wait on, apparently. That was from her.
They all, not all of them, but like the majority of them, they act like MAGA. Even the liberal-sided ones, like they all kind of just have that. Like,
maybe it's just where you work.
Maybe that's true.
Maybe you don't have a good sample.
Their wives are cool.
Oh man. Sorry, I'm getting a text about dinner.
Ooh, what are you having?
I think Chipotle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, what else did we have? I had notes. Now I can't find half of them.
Right. We talked about the Liz Murrell insanity.
Yes.
And for people that weren't on in the beginning, LouisianaDeservesBetter.com is where you can go if you want to find out where the recall is for Liz, the AG, and for the governor, Landry. There's also now, I think as of 2 days ago, there is a mail option where they you either can print it out and then you have to wet sign, like actually sign everything, but then you mail it in. Or if you don't have a printer, then they'll send you a packet and then they mail it to you with the return address. You fill it out and then send it back.
Oh, the other thing that Murrell is arguing is that the Lori, the prosecutor who's bringing the indictment against her, used to work for Duncan's office. And she's saying that's corruption and that's retaliatory. Like, dude, so is the governor pardoning you and saying he's going to pardon you.
The saying that he's going to pardon her before anything happens
is wild.
It is wild. It is
wild. Like that. Yeah, that's like, how do you know there's not some crazy evidence that you're not going to like support, at least pretend to not support? I mean, that's crazy. Oh, and they also brought up the lawsuit that ended up getting dropped or didn't go through for buying lingerie to an employer. Yeah, Judge Lori. Yeah, against Judge Lori. Did you hear about that?
I did not hear about that.
Yeah, like the lawsuit for sexual harassment, like they got an employee lingerie like at a Christmas party or something like that, and the lawsuit ended up getting dropped. And I was like, that's what I'm like, yeah, that's totally unprofessional, but like compared to the Epstein files, like, are you serious? Like, that's what y'all want to go with? You guys have like bigger, complaints to worry about.
I mean, we can do multiple things at the same time, hopefully, but yeah. Hopefully. I don't know. Sometimes I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they kind of set themselves up to catch a little bit of BS. And the way the article, like the way they wrote it, it was like, these indictments were shrouded in secrecy. It's like, well, yeah, that's how indictments work. Like, they're pretty secret until they drop. Like,
that's how they work.
I mean, and then, yeah, and now they're like banning all the reporters. Like, yeah, I don't blame them for banning the reporters. Like, the jurors, like, I think they need protection at this point. Like, that's a huge case. Like, they're already there for intimidating, you know, public officials. What do you think they're going to do to Americans, like, or Louisianans?
Are cameras and reporters normally allowed in every Louisiana room? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's freedom of press, so.
Every state is different, though, in, like, where they allow. So I didn't know.
Right. I mean, I think it's like discretion of the judge. I think it's like, it's usually just on the discretion of the judge, but, you know, there are laws saying, you know, freedom of press and, you know, whatnot. And that's what they're bringing up now and trying to use against them. And it's like, well, this is a case where, you know, people have already abused power and they're being accused of it, and they're threatening people if they don't vote a certain way. So, I mean, I think there's, you know, that's a good reason to do that. It's a valid reason. It's not like they're just, you know, trying to keep people out of it.
Yeah. If we think that people are going to be in danger, like the regular Americans that are showing up for jury duty, if they're in danger, there is precedent for making sure that they're safe.
Absolutely. And like I mean, I know what happens when, like, they did a story about the prison I was at, and women that spoke out against the prison and what was really going on, like, you got to understand, like, they move hell on earth to make them look as good as possible. They do the same with code enforcement too. Like, they'll be painting over black mold and, you know, covering up horrible stuff they don't want them to see. Well, they do the same thing, you know, when the news cameras come. And they'll act like they have way more inmates going through programs than they do, and, you know, stuff like that. And the women that spoke out ended up getting hauled to solitary, lost their good time, you know, had violence rain down on them. And, you know, there's a lot of ways, you know, that could be done on the outside. You know, whether it's just something as stupid as having their car towed, or, you know, something dumb like that. Like, these people have the power to do that, and they've proven that they will.
Yeah, it can be scary. That's why I think a lot of the Republican elected officials don't speak out. Like, a lot of them, I think, are not okay with some of the things that are happening, but are doing threat assessment. I mean, we saw, like, Pete Buttigieg and his family were targeted.
Yeah.
And that is not the first person. We've seen so many people with death threats.
Yeah. And, like, I talk about this in my book. A lot of the correctional officers that would defend inmates, they would put their job, not only put their job at risk, but they would put themselves at risk and be put in really dangerous situations and positions, and with no backup or, you know, whatever setup, you know, they have, because they completely control that environment. Like, from the lights coming on to the locks working to the cameras, you know, they completely run that environment. And it's real easy to shut off lights in one wing and, you know, oh, well, the cameras were fine, but, you know, the lights were off. Like, you know, the most ridiculous, like, things you don't think of. And, you know, the retaliation is real. Like and people like people don't really understand. Like they might have dealt with some petty thing at work where somebody retaliated, just something like that's annoying, or maybe made you look bad or was an inconvenience for you. But like, no, some of these situations, like, they get dangerous really quickly and you don't even like realize.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, we're seeing that in a lot of the politics, is how retaliatory this administration is, and how and they can like kind of sick their people on.
Yeah, and it's not even just the administration. Like, it's the PACs. Look what happened to Thomas Massey. I mean, they stomped him, and he was way more popular than the candidate.
Thomas Massey, John Cornyn, and then in Louisiana, Bill Cassidy. Like,
yeah, Bill Cassidy, he sucks. He almost went out, swinging, almost.
He's still apparently swinging behind the scenes a little bit.
Really?
He got into a yelling match with Trump, but then still voted in the way that Trump wanted him to. But at least he yelled at him, I guess.
He's still a bitch. All bark, no bite. I'm gonna vote, but I'm really upset about it. And people are gonna know that I yelled at you behind a closed door.
Yeah, or Susan Collins being concerned about everything, but then still doing it.
Oh yeah. I hate that woman. I remember in middle school, it was high school. They brought her to my high school for like an assembly, and they made us sit through it. And I was so mad. And my teacher's like, "Why are you freaking out? Like, what is the problem?" I was like, "My friends are like across seas right now because this bitch and her friends. Like, I'm so mad. Like, I did not even like her then." And then the opioid epidemic hit, and she profited off that. Big Pharma gave her all kinds of money to vote in their favor as well, which desecrated Maine communities. I mean, Maine is not the same. Bangor is not the same. You can't walk around there at night safe anymore. Like, you'll get mugged, needles everywhere. Like, it is not the same because of that woman and, her cronies. Like, it's really bad up there. I couldn't even believe it. Bangor doesn't even look the same.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
Right. And now Plattner's not even, I don't even know if he's in the race anymore. Like, I'm just so disappointed. Like, I don't even know what to think. It all feels calculated, but like, I don't know. That whole mess.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I feel like we talked about everything that we wanted to.
Yes, we did. Does anybody have topics you want us to touch base on next Monday?
If you do, put them in the comments, and I think
absolutely
you can comment after as well.
Yep. Or you can just jump in one of our videos and put a comment in. Oh, did you guys see Trump's state fair?
No, I've been avoiding.
No, this is funny. Even God said, "Screw your state fair," and all the storms blew in, and they had to evacuate.
Yes. Evacuate, and then they came back.
Yeah, and then polluted the sky, and yeah. I was like, well, some of it got postponed at least.
I had a great 4th of July weekend.
That's good.
Yes, went to a benefit at the Corner Lounge, which is one of the gay clubs, gay bars in Shreveport. And we had a benefit for a member of the trans community who was attacked here, because attacks still happen on a lot of people, but a lot of members of our community, especially the trans community. And so there was a benefit there, I was able to hang out and help that a little bit and be a part of that. So that was a way better use of my 4th of July than whatever
That's
was,
awesome.
was happening somewhere else.
I wore all black.
I saw, yes.
R.I.P. to the Constitution.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my dogs freaked out because of the fireworks. And yeah, because I'm right in Old Town. So it's like right above my head. And yeah, that was about it though.
Yeah.
I worked before
Yes,
then.
you
So.
also Okay. Well, nice talking to you as always. Thanks everyone
Yes.
who is still here, who was here, who hung out, who joined us. And we'll see you next week.
Yes. Bye, guys.